Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Guys at Magic. This is Hunter, David, and Shane. Say what up, boys.
Yo, what's going on?
What up, nerds?
We are back this time taking a look at another day of murders at Karlov Manor. That's right, it's the new set coming to Magic the Gathering. Today being January 23rd, 2024. We have not as many cards as we talked about yesterday. That was a huge video yesterday, but also somehow managed to miss a card. So we are going to go ahead and start it off with that card. But before we do, just want to remind everybody to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, so you're not missing out on any of this cool content we're putting out. So let's jump into the card we missed yesterday. It is Conspiracy Unraveler. It's 5 and 2 blue for a 6/6 creature, Sphinx Detective. It's got flying, and it says you may collect evidence 10 rather than pay the mana cost for spells that you cast. Is this good, David? I don't know.
I mean, that is a massive payoff.
Is it?
6/6
It's
flyer.
you like collect evidence, huh?
Okay, wait. We always say something about free spells, right? What is the thing that we say about free spells?
They're
Free spells are
sometimes
never
good.
bad.
Free,
However,
you guys
is it-
never say free spells are bad. You always say free spells are good. This card right here has your cards are free.
Well,
but for a cost of collecting evidence.
So
What do you mean so? You have to have mana value 10 in the graveyard to even cast something. At that point, I feel like you can do one thing.
well, I mean, if you're trying to play this on turn 1, that's hard. But you know,
Yeah, that
I'm
would
just
be
saying,
pretty
like,
hard to do.
when you're playing a game of Magic, you tend to be casting spells. Those spells tend to be going to your graveyard. So late game, you might tend to have a graveyard. I think I see what Dave's getting at. So
I mean, I think in like sorry, you can go first.
I was going to say late game, yes, you would tend to have spells in your graveyard probably.
You don't even necessarily need to wait for late game. Like you could just build around it, as you guys always tell me. Like I don't think that collect evidence 10 is going to be that crazy. Now in like maybe I don't know limited, this is a beater. If so long as you can actually get to the point where you're going to cast this thing. Standard, you're probably going to need to reanimate this. In a game of EDH though, I don't think this is going to be much of a problem. And then once it does hit play, you should be able to have no problem just making your things free.
I mean, it still costs 7 to begin with. I don't like this card. I'm sorry. I know you're high on it, David. I'm not.
Look, I'm just gonna go throw it out there. This card is a mythic for a reason.
Yeah, some
for
are
the
bad.
for the lore, Dave,
I don't know if there's any lore behind this card.
I'm just being facetious. Sorry.
Yeah, dude, it unravels the conspiracy.
And that is the card we missed yesterday. So let's move on to the cards from today. First up, Incinerator of the Guilty. It's 4 and 2 red for a 6/6 creature dragon. It's got flying and trample, and it says whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may collect evidence X. When you do, Incinerator of the Guilty deals X damage to each creature and each planeswalker that player controls. I love the name of this card.
Yeah.
It's like Balefire Dragon.
Yeah.
Incinerator of the Guilty.
Well, hey, we just talked about evidence collecting, Dave. What about this collecting of evidence?
I mean, I just compared this to like an old All-Star whenever it comes to like EDH. This is Balefire Dragon with slightly extra steps.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I wish it said it dealt damage to base instead of creatures because I that's cool, I guess.
Wait, let me get this straight. You mean to tell me the 6 damage that this is already dealing to face isn't enough for you? Oh, and
No.
by the way, let's not forget the fact that it's also probably killing all of your opponent's creatures in the process.
Depending on how many evidence you collect, Dave.
Yeah, but if you're playing
Just-
a dragon deck, perhaps like with this dragon, you're probably gonna wipe the board.
Okay, how big do you think you would need to collect evidence for this card to be good?
Like 6.
That's 2 3-drops.
I
That
know.
is not hard.
I'm not arguing it is.
Like
Yeah.
that is very easy to do, and that is like you don't even actually have to build around that. That's just like play a game of Magic, and at one point in time or another, you're probably gonna have a creature die. You're probably gonna cast a spell. Like there's probably gonna be something in your graveyard just from you playing the game.
Yeah.
I was playing devil's advocate, okay? I like this card a lot. I will say that right now. Incinerator Guilty is pretty good. This is a mythic for a reason.
Yeah, dude, this is also like Steel Hellkite, dude. I like this.
I don't know if it's Steel Hellkite, but yes.
I mean, it's similar, right? It does something similar.
It does the removal thingy.
Moving on to another mythic in red, it's Expedited Inheritance. It's 2 red mana for an enchantment that says whenever a creature is dealt damage, its controller may exile that many cards from the top of their library. They may play those cards until the end of their next turn. Helping yourself, helping the other opponents. I don't know about this one, Dave.
Blasphemous act. I'm gonna have so much fun.
Dude, that you might mill somebody at that point.
Well, it says
it's
May.
Okay.
So,
You're right.
like, the might mill somebody at that point is literally just yourself, and they're all going into exile.
It's true.
But you can play your entire deck until the next turn.
I was gonna say you can find your combo piece pretty quickly.
Yeah, have a couple creatures in play, Blasphemous Act, like the top 39 cards of your library or something like that. You probably just won the game off that. And that's for likely 3 red mana.
Mm-hmm.
Is
You
it
make a good point.
is it too much of a downside though, helping your opponent? Because like this will turn on. Let's say your deck is more worried about playing things out of exile. It's not a bad card. I think it helps you do the thing you're trying to do.
It also helps your opponents though.
It will. It gives them card advantage, but if they can't utilize it right away, whereas you might be able to utilize it right away, I don't know.
Or you play this in like a Boros deck with the Dranith Magistrate and just have fun.
Wow. Yeah, that's gonna suck.
That would be pretty cool. You've broken the card, Dave. Congratulations.
Wow.
I don't think this card needed any help. I like this card a lot. Also, I think that you play this and then you intentionally just try to win the game that turn.
Yeah, no, I like it
Yeah,
too.
I can see that happening. All right, let's move on to 10th District Hero. 1 and a white for a 2/3 creature human. Got an ability you can pay 1 and a white, collect evidence 2. 10th District Hero becomes a human detective with base power and toughness 4/4 and gains vigilance. It has another ability you can pay 2 and a white, collect evidence 4. If 10th District Hero is a detective, it becomes a legendary creature named Mileva, Stalwart Hero, with base power and toughness 5/5, and other creatures you control have indestructible. We have a new level up creature, this time pumping the board. It's pretty cool. A little different.
Wait,
By pumping the
pumping the
board, I mean
board.
just giving everything indestructible.
Okay, I like it.
I mean,
Buffing, maybe buffing the board. Yeah.
Protecting.
there's parts of this card that I like, and there's also parts of this card that I don't like. I don't like that this is a 7 mana investment from you to get from A to B. Or
Yeah.
actually, I guess from A to B to C.
Yeah.
I do like how you can do this at instant speed.
That's true.
Depending on if you have the evidence.
You got to do. Yeah. I don't know. I hate the ones that's like do the thing. If the thing's already been done, then do the next thing. Like it's
The
cute.
level
It's
up.
just so slow, dude.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, this one is cooler.
It is cooler.
Like I said, it does more than just itself, which
Yeah.
we could see that in the future with more level up creatures, I guess.
And it is a good payoff. And if you've already done it once and you leave open that second ability, your opponent's going to be very hesitant to either board wipe or like trade maybe or something because you could do that in instant speed, like David said. So it is a good card. It's just expensive.
I said it before. I've been saying it through this entire spoiler season. I don't know if I like collect evidence at all.
I think that it is much easier to turn on than what you probably think. I look at it like it's an alternative take on Delve, and Delve already is a very broken mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the collect evidence is going to be very difficult for you to actually really work with.
It's just a more specific delve now.
If you say so, we'll see. Let's move on to a new legend. It is Yarus, Roar of the Gods. It's 2, a red and a green for a 4/4 legendary creature, Centaur Druid. It says other creatures you control have haste. And whenever one or more face down creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. And whenever a face down creature you control dies, if it's a permanent card, return it to the battlefield face down under its owner's control, then turn it face up.
Dude,
I love this card.
I love this card too.
I think it's okay.
I don't like
I think
Ghoul
it's
normally.
a lot of fun.
Yeah. I do wish that the card on its own helped put things face down. That's the only downfall in my opinion. I know you're going to have to build around it, but then that's again, sorry, talking about Commander, but yeah, we'll talk about that more, I'm sure.
Not necessarily. I mean, if there is like a Gruul flippy deck, this could be the top end of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that really my concern here, Bang, is for 4 mana, this gives other things haste, which at that point I probably don't need my other things to have haste. They're probably already in play. Especially if I am playing the flippy deck. I keep saying flippy deck.
Well, the idea is like if you're cloaking something, right?
Mm-hmm.
You cloak something off the top of your deck. It could be an enchantment or an
It has
artifact.
haste now.
That's huge. You're hoping someone will block it to die, and then you put it back, and then you flip it over for free. That's an amazing payoff.
I mean, I get it. I'm just like, I view this as like this is the top end of the deck, and giving other things haste is like that's really not where I want my top end to be. I don't want it to be the build around card. I want it to be the finisher, and this is very much so the build around.
It's also
don't
very
know.
much so like showing your opponent what your game plan is, because like you said, Hunter, I don't know if they're gonna want to block those face down cards, knowing what this card can do.
It's true. Or you can just kill your own stuff just to flip them for free.
Yeah, that's true too.
That's more steps on your end though.
It's worth it if it's cheaper. But we'll talk about this card being a legend in our Commander Grades video, so stay tuned for that one. Let's move on to another card. It is Officious Interrogation. It is a white and a blue for an instant that says this spell costs a white and a blue more to cast for each target beyond the first. Choose any number of target players. Investigate X times, where X is the total number of creatures those players control. That is so out of hand.
Hmm.
That'll win you the game. At instant speed, we talked about mechanized production yesterday. On end step, target yourself if you have enough creatures. Make as many clues as you have creatures. You win.
You guys keep going back to mechanized
Don't
production.
you
Like,
say
it is
you
like this
guys.
really powerful card. Thank you, Shane, because I don't think that it is. It's a very telescopic, or it's a very, what is the word I'm looking for here?
Yes.
Mechanized production really just kind of like telegraphs what your entire game plan is. So it tells the entire table, hey, come deal with me or my enchantment, please. Also, this card on its just like on its own is neat. It can be incredibly mana intensive depending on how many people you want to target. Yeah, 2 people means 2 blue, 2 white. That's a lot of specific colors.
If you're running two
Well, you're
colors,
probably
not
just
really.
running, yeah. But I guess to go back to Hunter's point, and to counter your point a bit, David, just a tiny bit. Let's say you played your card, which shall not be named, mechanized, and people are like, "Oh, well, you're way off of that." But then at the end of your turn, you can flash this in instant speed, or not, sorry, instant speed this, and then just win. I mean, that's probably what Hunter's talking about, maybe.
I mean, I think that if you are looking at somebody who has that card in play and are thinking, oh, they're way off of it, you're already setting yourself up for failure. If somebody's playing that card, they're playing it with the intention of exploiting it. They're playing it with the intention of being like, okay, I've gone from 1 to 8 immediately. So I don't know. I look at it like I don't understand that argument because it's like you're presenting your win con, you're telling your opponents, hey, deal with it or deal with me.
Well,
I don't care if they've only got 1 permanent in play, they're the target.
I
Dave,
think you
we're
play it both
casual.
at the same time, dude. I think you play that mechanized production, and then you just win that turn.
I mean, that's more so the direction that I think of, but this is like, it's a 2 card combo that we're kind of talking about at this point. And also, no, you don't win that turn because you have to make it to your next upkeep.
I just think this card is fantastic. For just basically whoever has the most creatures, you just make as many clues as that person. For just 2 mana at instant speed is really good.
Not bad.
I think it's just okay.
Hey, that's the beauty of having an opinion.
Yep, it's wrong.
It's not what I
Let's
said.
move on. Let's move on to Coveted Falcon. It's 1 and 2 blue for a 1/4 artifact creature bird. It's got flying and it says when it attacks, gain control of target permanent you own, but don't control. It also has a disguise of 1 and a blue. And whenever Coveted Falcon is turned face up, target opponent gains control of any number of target permanents you control. Draw a card for each one they gained control of this way.
Mm.
It's weird, right?
Seems very specific.
I like this card.
You know?
It's just weird and it's like it's tricky.
It's like, take my stuff.
You know,
Yeah, but like you can give them the bad things and then just like never attack with it.
Oh, it sounds like a Beamtown Bully.
See, that kind of a style where it's just like, hey, it's your problem now, dude. You deal with it.
yeah, it seems fun, David, but it's very kind of niche, I guess. I don't know.
Totally fair.
I don't know if I would like to give away my stuff. I mean, I guess what you said, David, you give away all the bad stuff, but why am I having bad stuff in my deck?
To give away.
No,
Yeah.
but it would be on my board first, right?
I mean, maybe it's got a good ETB, and then you want to pitch it later and just be like, all right, cool, your problem.
Sure. I mean, you get to draw cards for everything you give them.
See, I
There
like
you
that
go.
too.
Card draw wins
You
games,
can also
dude.
play this. You can also just play this with like politics and be like, hey, I'm going to be your friend for the turn. I'm going to give you a thing, and then I'm going to hit you with my little guy at only 1 damage, and then I'll draw some cards.
There you go.
Sure.
Politics.
Politics. Let's move on to another card. It's Krenko's Buzzcrusher. It's 2 and 2 red for a 4/4 artifact creature insect thopter. It's got flying and trample and says when it enters the battlefield for each player, destroy up to 1 non-basic land that player controls. For each land destroyed this way, its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Where did Krenko get this thing, huh?
He stole it for the war.
Actually, I did read about that. It's kind of like Phyrexian tech they kind of just are playing with.
Oh,
That
Makes
seems safe.
sense with the goblins. I like that.
Yeah.
I don't like this card.
This reminds me like a 4 mana 4/4 with flying and trample is normally like a dragon. But
And
here we are with an insectopter.
yeah, 4 mana 4/4 flying trample in red, dude. Sign me up. I don't even care about what the rest of this card does.
That's not why I don't like this card. This card just is mean, dude. I'm not like you, David. I don't like destroying people's lands.
Why? Would they get another one?
I
They
don't
get another
care.
one.
Unless you make it to where they can't search their libraries.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
also fun fact about this card, it gets around hexproof because it does not say target.
True.
You know
I
what?
just
Good
don't
point.
I don't like it.
You can blow up Lotus Field.
Yes, you can.
And that in and of itself is like 3 for 1 in your opponent. So there you go, dude.
You're not talking
We
me
got-
into this card anymore.
We got counter Lotus Field deck.
There we go. Franco's Buzzcrusher. What a card. I'm here for it though. This will be a good limited bomb as well, I think. And the final card we're talking about today is not actually a rare or mythic. However, most people online think it should be. It's Insidious Roots. It is a black and a green for an enchantment that says creature tokens you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color, and whenever one or more creature cards leave your graveyard, create a 0/1 plant creature token, then put a +1/+1 counter on each plant you control for 2 mana.
Seems pretty strong.
It's Cryptolith right, but with extra steps.
What do you mean extra steps? This
Well,
is
this is creature tokens.
sure.
And
We're
it's
making
creating them
plants.
for you.
And Shane, you said you didn't like this art.
I don't. It just looks like it's been sitting out in the sun too long.
I mean, yeah, sure. I
I,
don't
I
know.
like the
This
card a lot,
card
though. This card
seems
looks
yeah,
nuts.
this is a really good card.
Yeah.
If you're running a token style deck, everything is now mana dorks.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Golgari, you're reanimating stuff.
Yeah.
You're making plants every time you reanimate.
Dude, this would go
Seems
great with the
really good.
Mycosant Tyrant. Mm-hmm.
That Avenger of Zendikar makes plants for you. Gets you more plants to put counters on.
I'm
Pretty
here for it.
cool.
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it too. What do you think, Dave?
I think it's okay.
Just okay. Why do you think
knew
it's just
you knew
okay?
my response on this one.
He thinks that
Well,
because we like it, Hunter.
It's always
No,
the opposite.
it's not. I'm not always the opposite. I agree with you guys most of the time, anyways. I don't know. I'm just like I'm not the biggest fan of this card. I understand that there is a place for it, and I think that it's neat. In standard, yeah, this maybe can do a thing. I think that this is probably much slower than what it reads. Creature tokens specifically only getting the ability to tap. Same kind of thing there. I don't know how much of an upside that's going to be. There's going to be games where you don't have any creature tokens at all, and this does literally nothing. There's going to be games where you have tons of creature tokens, and then you have like doubled or tripled your mana whenever you play this card. So it's very swingy. Same with the bottom effect. It's just like if you are just like getting the gas to go along with it, the card is really good. But if you're not getting the gas to go along with it, the card's not really doing anything.
Yeah, but I feel like you're trying to give it gas because that's the deck you're running this card in.
I get that. I understand that. I think that this might see play in like maybe as like something very niche and standard. I don't know if this gets there for me past that point.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that is going to do it for us today. That is all of the spoilers that we wanted to talk about, all the rares and the mythics. Before we wrap things up, let's go around the table, talk about our favorite cards of today. Shane, what was your favorite?
I liked Incinerator of the Guilty. I like the dragon.
It's a fun one. How about you, David?
I'm gonna go with Expedited Inheritance. Not only just for the card, but also I think that the artwork and flavor text is hilarious.
How about you,
I'm
Hunter?
going with the new legend. That's Yarus Roar of the Gods. I think that's going to be a really fun card, and I might build it. So
Hell
we'll
yeah.
see. So if you guys haven't already followed us on our Instagram, we post all of the commons and uncommons as well. If you wanted to see everything from every day, follow us on that. It's in the link in the description at Guys That Magic. Also in the description, you will find links to our TikTok and our Twitter, also at Guys That Magic for those too. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, like I said in the beginning of the video. And in the description, you'll see a link to our Patreon account. That's right, we have a Patreon account. Follow us on there for extra bonus content. We're always doing cool stuff over there. Subscribe. Big shout out to all the people that are on the screen that are also subscribed. And until the next video, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Later.
Bye-bye.